Hello, 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 everyone. Hello and welcome to Sidereal Insights, the Astro Update, bi-monthly Astro Update series that we do every Monday, or every other Monday, excuse me, at 1:30 p.m. here on the Mystick Physick Astrology Facebook page, where what we do is explore the astrology of the current planetary transits across the heavens from a Western sidereal perspective. And I'm 𝗦𝗲𝗏𝗏, I'm the astrologer and artist of Mystick Physick Astrology, and I use Western sidereal astrology in my practice to help folks just like you reconnect with your soul purpose and remember why you came. And with the broadcast, with the Sidereal Insights Astro Update, my aim is always to provide guidance for you on how we can consciously use the energy of the transiting planets to affect our lives in a positive way. And so you'll need to have your sidereal natal chart, your 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏 sidereal natal chart with you on the broadcast. And if you need to look up your sidereal placements, you can look them up online with our free calculator at mystickphysick.com/sidereal tools to find out your sidereal sun sign, your rising sign, and we'll be looking at a couple of special degrees on today's broadcast. But welcome. Today we are going to be touching on retrogrades of several planets. We'll be talking about retrograde activity going on throughout the month of April. We're going to be talking about the new moon in Aries coming up at the end of the week, and we'll be talking about some annual planetary meetups between the sun and other planets. And so grab your chart, grab your pencil if you want to take notes. You might find that helpful. One of the first things that we're talking about today is the upcoming Sun square Pluto that's exact tomorrow. It's exact the 10th. And with that particular aspect, that can trigger tension in the form of power struggles and conflicts with authority. When the Sun and Pluto duke it out in that tense square aspect. And so that's the type of energy, the type of circumstance, the type of activity you're going to want to keep an eye out for tomorrow as we come into that aspect going exact. And so this is kind of a situation where maybe if you need the assistance or help or advice of a VIP or a person of influence, you might want to hold off making your approach. That square aspect might not be the best circumstance for you to make your request under. Hold off till the 14th of this month, so just a little bit later, and you'll have better chances of getting the help that you need if that's a situation you're coming into. Coming up on the 14th, so before the end of the week, just in a few short days, the Sun's going to enter Sidereal Aries and begin our kind of our spring month, right? We already had our vernal equinox, so we're already technically in spring, but we think of Aries as that springtime sign of the zodiac. And so we'll be embarking on that 4-week tour, birthday month for anyone born under the sign of the Ram. So watch for that coming up, and that'll happen just before the new moon in Aries, which is perfect timing for a couple of reasons. It sets off the Sun's entrance. We get 4 strong weeks of that Sun traveling through Aries to back what we're doing and energize what it is we're doing, right? Because the Sun gives energy to what it touches in that sense. At the same time, Mercury is going to station direct, which is timely and fortuitous. You want to give that stationary date, which is the day of the new moon, a little bit of space, because Mercury is still going to be a little weird. He's going to be a little unpredictable. He's going to be much more strong in terms of his impact than he would be any other time. So give that day a little bit of space. However, it'll be nice to have Mercury stationing direct just in advance of when we're able to tap into this new moon in Aries energy with our intention setting and taking action towards our intentions as we would normally do during that week. So we're not quite going to have Mercury up to speed. We're still in the shadow for this particular new moon in Aries. But we're going to be able to, at least in some ways, use Mercury's direct motion and build that into whatever endeavors it is we start after this new moon in Aries coming up. That's on the 15th of April, so at the end of this week. And then on the 17th this month, Saturn stations retrograde. So we're talking about retrograde. Well, the first one that you want to note is on the 15th, Mercury stationing direct. That's the first piece of April retrograde news. Then on the 17th, we're going to have Saturn stationing retrograde. And for the most part, folks born under the signs of Capricorn and Aquarius are going to feel this most. If you have Capricorn or Aquarius, the sun, sidereal placement of your sun, or rising sign. And then check your chart as well for planets or points that you might find at 14 degrees of Sagittarius. That's where Saturn's going to be when he stations. And so if you have a planet or point there, this retrograde could be something that you feel directly as well. So check that point, even if you don't have Aquarius or Capricorn sun or rising sign, by the 𝘱𝗶𝗵𝗵𝗁 Sidereal Zodiac. Okay. And so during that period of time that Saturn is retrograde, we're going to be challenged to demonstrate that we're meeting our responsibilities and our obligations. And typically what happens if we haven't been, that retrograde period can provide an opportunity for us to make the change that we need to make to meet those obligations, to meet those commitments, to meet our responsibilities. Otherwise, when Saturn moves direct again, we're liable to face the consequences of not meeting those obligations, right? So this is something you'll have the summer month to take care of business, basically, while Saturn is retrograde. So keep that in mind as you're planning out your next couple of months worth of activity. And then as far as significant dates when the sun meets up with some planets, these are meetups that happen usually about once a year, depending on the planet. And so the sun's going to conjoin Uranus on the 18th of April. This is the first one that we're going to run into. And that will be a particularly significant day for folks with Aquarius sun and Aquarius rising. When the sun conjoins the ruler of your sun sign or the ruler of your ascendant, that can be a particularly significant day for you during the course of a year. So if you have Aquarius sun or rising, pay attention to April 18th. Something could happen. It could be something very important that affects you very directly. So keep your eyes on that date. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is Uranus is the planet of sudden events. He rules accidents. The sun is the planet which represents ourselves in the chart, generally speaking. And so you do want to be careful of the risk of accidents around that day, and just practice safety first. That's just an important thing to do. Okay? So keep that one in mind. We're going to have Venus moving into the sign of Taurus later this month on the 20th of April. That's a 3.5 week long transit, and she's right at home in Taurus. Venus rules Taurus, right? And so this is a transit where we're very naturally inclined to want to stimulate our senses. We want to enjoy things in every way that they can be enjoyed. And so that includes our surroundings, our food, our clothes, the arts, our entertainment. So these are experiential urges that we have when Venus is transiting the sign of Taurus. Pluto is going to be stationing retrograde later on. So the 22nd of April, so just 2 days after Venus changes signs, Pluto's stationing retrograde at 26 degrees of Sagittarius, kind of further slowing down a little bit of activity over the summer. That's a longer term retrograde. It lasts for about 5 months. So keep your eyes on that time frame. So this particular 5-month long slowdown is going to predominantly affect Scorpio sun and Scorpio rising. That is the ruler of your sun or the ruler of your ascendant, if you have either of those placements. So expect to, if you have important business or things that you've been working on, projects, expect progress to slow down over the next 5 months. But that's an opportunity for you to go back and see if there's anything that you need to do differently. So it's an opportunity for transformation before you finish up later on, whatever this is. And then also, if you don't have Scorpio sun or Scorpio rising, check your sidereal natal chart for planet or point at 26 degrees of Sagittarius. That would be the important point. And if you have a planet or point there, keep your eye on April 22nd for some sort of news as to how the retrograde may affect you. And then Mars conjuncts Pluto also this month. So this is a challenging potential. This is it could be a very tough day. It could be a very transformative day. Pluto transforms what he touches, and he doesn't necessarily do so painlessly, right? Those of us who've been affected by a Pluto transit can attest to that. There's a potential for communication difficulties that day, along with a risk of conflict with authority figures. So just be aware, put a red star by that day and remind yourself to be extra patient, to reach for forgiveness first, to try to be more compassionate that day, just because of that volatile energy that we're going to encounter. That's the 26th of April. And that is just ahead of our full moon in Libra that will greet us at the end of the month on the 29th. We have our full moon in Libra at 14 degrees. And so this is going to be a full moon where kind of pitching in that spirit of cooperation and generosity to kind of wrap things up and get things done, being a good partner and a good neighbor, a good global citizen. These are all going to be wonderful ways to take advantage of the full moon in Libra, and just an opportunity for enjoying yourselves. Our time of rest, our winter time here in the Northern Hemisphere is over. Spring's about to start, which means that resting season is over. It's coming to its fulfillment. That's the full moon in Libra before we dive into the spring planting season, right? So our work is just about to begin for the season, for the growing season. And this is the end of our period of rest. So the full moon in April on the 29th, at the end of the month, the full moon in Libra. Join in with your neighbors, your partners, folks that you love in a spirit of cooperation, and help finish up any, unfinished business that you might have going on, so that you don't have anything getting in your way as we get ready to start on our brand new growth season at our coming new moon. You're going to want to have all your time and energy and effort available for beginning new things and the coming growing season for sure. And I want to thank you for joining me on the broadcast. I don't see any questions so far, but if anyone does have any questions, feel free, just pop them into the comments. Just a couple of announcements, nothing really new or exciting this time around. The Sunday the 15th, we have our new moon intention setting live stream at 7:30 p.m. So that's coming up. Join me for that. And then we will have the May overview plus short reports coming very shortly. And then hot on the heels of that, we should have the May full horoscopes by sign. I'd like to have those to those of you who have the advanced access subscription by the 15th. That's my goal. So keep an eye out for that. We also, I've been spreading the news as much as possible. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you miss any of the videos, it's a great place to catch them. They're all archived and organized there and on the website. So be sure to catch our videos. If you can't catch me live, catch the replay. And also, if you haven't had a chance yet to read your full horoscopes by sign for the month of April for your sun sign and your rising sign, head on over to the website. It's mystickphysick.com/sidereal monthly horoscopes and read up on your sidereal sun and rising sign for April. And we will see you on Sunday at 7:30 for the new moon intention setting. And have a fabulous week. Thanks, and see you later.